Hello and welcome to Statford Bridge, Chelsea by the numbers. Chelsea drew 2-2 with Ipswich at home, and all of the margin for error is gone. Look, it's been a while since we had a good ball don't go in game. This was, I think, pretty reasonably a ball don't go in game. Opta had it 2.3 to 1.1. That, I think, is actually a pretty bad rating of these chances. Most of the other models I've seen have been Chelsea like north of 3. I think a part of that is also like the Cucurella goal, which is an own goal. Like it's a 0.8 XG chance if Cucurella gets the touch versus not, whatever, it doesn't matter. That Chelsea played okay in terms of chance generation. I thought it was one of the few times this season that from a losing game state, Chelsea have pretty reliably generated chances. I think, again, they end up in a situation where they play quite well, and then they concede a goal against the run of play, and then the team is absolutely wobbled by said goal and by said quote-unquote environment, and we're going to get to that quote later. But, like, it's been more of the same. Like, 34 shots is great. 34 shots for 2.5 XG is not. Like, this is a terrible shot. This is a terrible shot. This is a terrible shot. This is a not great 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 shot. And for those listening, being like, wow, Kieran said that a lot. Yeah, because Neto and Palmer and everyone decided that I'm going to shoot from horrible angles. And not only am I going to shoot from horrible angles and from distance, I'm also going to get blocked a huge amount of the time, which means, like, it's a terrible decision to shoot. And, again, how much better would you be if the cumulative, maybe half an expected goal you get from all of these chances where you got enough space to get a shot off, but not enough space to, like, do anything more, where, like, actually you dribbled into the box, or you tried to create more, or you tried to slip someone, or whatever, blah, 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 blah. Ugh. Just very frustrating. The goals they concede, the first one is, like, truly dreadful defending from all involved. The second one is, like, really, really bad defending from all involved. And I think Enzo Maresca said something like, we kick long because of the environment, and then we concede off of kicking long, and is getting pelters for it on social media. And I by being like, hey, I think Maresca has been fine and is a 6 out of 10, have somehow become a Clear Lake grifter, a fake fan who doesn't know what it's like to go to games. I only care about the data. Look, I think all of those things are wrong, obviously, and I think it's true that Maresca has been, I don't know, close to fine. And I also think, like, this has nothing to do with data and nothing to do with the theme of this podcast, but, like, Maresca saying Robert Sanchez just got booed for trying to play out, and the next time he tried to play out, he was like, I don't want to get booed, and kicked it long, is just an objectively accurate description of the situation. He didn't say people are wrong to boo. He didn't say they don't have the right to boo. He didn't say it's their fault. All he said was that because of the environment, where the environment here is the stand-in phrase for Robert Sanchez and the center backs are getting booed when they're playing out, is objectively true. That is objectively the reason that Sanchez kicks long. Because he's like, yeah, I'm not doing this anymore. And I would also like to say, I don't think that's their fault, the fans' fault. I think it's Sanchez's fault for being a coward. I think that is, and it's Sanchez's fault for having a terrible kick long when he pushes everyone wide and then kicks it down the middle to the center back. I think it is Chaloba's fault for going up to contest a header with the striker as the right back. I think it is Tosin's fault for not going up to contest the header so that Chaloba can cover the space. I think it is Jackson's fault for not even contesting the header so that the center back wins it so cleanly, it is immediately a flick on the last line. I think it is Cucurella's fault that he does not track the runner to the back post. I think it is Sanchez's fault that he's like 3 yards inside of his net when the header happens, so he doesn't even have a chance to save it. I think all of those things are true. And I don't think it's the fans' fault, but I still think it happened because he was getting booed. And again, I don't think it's their fault. And I think people saying, oh, Maresca said it's our fault, are like, you're telling on yourself a little bit. I think you just really, really want to be mad about it. So, and again, he doesn't even say anything. He just says the environment. Whatever. So that is what it is. In terms of things I liked from this game, I thought Chelsea did a good job to get numbers in the box pretty consistently. I thought Enzo Fernandez had a pretty good game. I thought Nani Madueke looked good. I thought if he is a little bit better, Chelsea are probably 2-0 up and cruising early. I don't think anyone other than those two played particularly well. I thought Caicedo was very poor for his lofty standards. I think it was very clear he was trying not to get booked. I thought Cole Palmer looked really poor again. And I think that the place I'm at with Palmer at this point is, you look at the season-long metrics, and he's in basically the same place as last year. A little bit behind on his finishing compared to last year, fewer penalties, but in terms of the non-penalty stuff, he's basically identically in line. But it's come in the shape of he's taking more bad shots and exchanging creative moments for that. And I think where that is coming from predominantly is he looks dead. He looks like a guy who in his first ever pro season played basically every single minute of every single game with a couple deep cup runs, then went and played the Euros, and then came straight back into preseason, and then straight back into another Premier League season. And he didn't even really get a preseason. He came back from the Euros, I think played like 20 minutes in the last preseason game, and then went straight into City, first game of the season. And he looks dead. He looks totally dead. And I think you look at it and you're like, hey, great, he looks like this, and then we're going to go into a Club World Cup, so he's going to get a real rest this summer, and then he's going to play, and then we're going to play a whole nother season with another European campaign, whether that's Champions League or Europa or Conference League, and then he's going to go to a World Cup, and then and it's going to be Mason Mount all over again. And I think Enzo Maresca has done a pretty good job of keeping guys on the field this year. But I look at Cole Palmer and I'm like, that guy needs 3 weeks to go sit on a beach and do nothing right now. And I probably would have done that when he got hurt. And I think we talked about this in January, that like, hey, there's a chance that like you should send some of these guys to go get a rest because they look gassed. And we didn't. And here we are. So I think in terms of things I didn't like the lineup decision. I don't really understand the choice to play Trev at right back in a game where you're expecting to, and Tosin at center back in a game where you're expecting to predominantly have to defend in transition. Seemed very bizarre to me. It's not like Ipswich are super direct or like a huge threat of set pieces like when we've seen Tosin play against Brentford. Thought that was very bizarre. Thought the subs were infrequent and late. I thought Gusto coming on instead of James was bizarre. He was especially if you weren't going to use him to overlap, he was very poor. Sancho scores a nice goal. I thought Nkunku actually looked lively when he came on because Jackson was very poor. I don't know. Sometimes ball don't go in. But, like, you're playing one of the worst teams in the league. It's not great to end up in a situation where you can get ball don't go in. So, I mean, we can look at the sexy spreadsheet all we want. I don't know. It's about the same as last year. A little bit worse on XGD than the Burnley game last year. It's the same in terms of points. But Chelsea played this game up a man for 70 minutes. So, sure, there's a penalty in there for Chelsea as well that I've removed, obviously, but it happened. Yeah, I mean, whatever. The season-long metrics don't really matter anymore. It's just going to be what's happening with Champions League. I do think one of the things that has come up and you don't want to parse small sample sizes too much, but I was looking kind of by game state stuff, and ignore this. This is out of date now, but you look at Chelsea are just murdering teams at even game state, and very, very good in first halves and really poor in second halves. And I think what has been very much the case that lines up with what I'm seeing is that the team physically is not hanging around in second halves. That I think is very much true. And they have been very bad at recovering from changes in game state. Whether that's they're playing well and they score and they're like, okay, let's go do it again. It has not been that. It has very much been like, okay, we scored. Great. We don't have to play anymore. Or it's, oh my God, they scored on us. Well, what do we do? Which is what happened for 20 minutes after Chelsea conceded. Right? Like, they concede the first shot they face of the game. They immediately concede like 10 minutes later. And for that, until the last 5 minutes of the first half, they're incredibly wobbled. And they have nothing going. They score right away to start the second half, and they chase pretty well, but like just so rattled for those 20 minutes from when they concede until the end of the half. And, you know, like, it's a young team. I've said pretty consistently, I think, beyond the fact that they're both good players, like losing Thiago Silva and Conor Gallagher has had like a pretty detrimental effect to the stability of the squad, where like for their many qualities, you do that other players who have come in, like Thiago Silva was still probably Chelsea's best center back last year, and like would have played every single game that Wesley Fofana was not available for against Levi Colwill this year, 100%. Even being as slow as he is, maybe you wouldn't have liked it with the line, but like easily, he's so much better than Tosin and so much better than Chalobah. And Conor Gallagher is like, the game gets tough and that guy rolls up his sleeve. Like, he is very good at playing in chaotic game states, and this team cannot handle. They are very good when things are clean and neat and in their place, and they struggle when things get messy. And last year's team was very good when things got messy, and they were only good when things got messy. And like, I don't think it has to be one or the other, and I think that's a real problem. In terms of top four odds, it's a bit of a mess now. Chelsea are about they're a little bit lower than Nottingham Forest. I think FPL Analytic have it like 30%. Basically, not winning that game took all the error bars out. You now have to beat Forest on the final day, and you probably have to beat Newcastle. I think 12 points will do it for fifth. So you're on 54. You have 6 games left. That puts you 66. I would say almost guaranteed gets you to fifth. I think 10 points might do it. You like beat Everton, beat Fulham, beat Forest, draw Newcastle. Something like that. Or like, as long as you beat Forest in that 10 points, I think it will do it. But you never know. You have the goal difference on Villa. Which is pretty important. And you're definitely not getting caught on it, which is nice. And you're close on goal difference with Newcastle, so it comes down to that. Like, you've got something there. You have Forest on goal difference. Like, that will be helpful to you down the stretch, almost certainly. So let's see. Let's see on that one. Some other fun things that happened, and I didn't record this Sunday because I was like, I knew this stuff was going to come up, was that there was reporting about the co-sporting directors and the manager and Bedat Igbali and blah, 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 blah. And the comment was, it's rarely the executives who lose out. Stuart Winstanley enjoy the support of Igbali. It's always easier to change the manager, particularly one who's starting to give the impression that life would be easier if games were played in empty stadiums. Yeah, I mean, I think it's very clear that those two are in favor. At the same time, favor can change very quickly. And I think if Chelsea don't make the Champions League, which is entirely possible, I think if Chelsea don't make the Champions League, I think a lot of people's positions will be reconsidered very quickly. And there's a world, right, where you come sixth, you miss by a point, you win the Conference League, and you're like, yeah, that's progress. It might be this one, but I don't think it is. And I think the place that I've come to with Maresca and with the sporting directors, and I'm still going to do the Maresca report card at the end of the season, because, again, I don't think he's getting an F. I don't think he's getting a D. Like, I think he's done a considerably better job than Graham Potter has, for example. Considerably better job than Graham Potter has. I think he's probably done a little bit worse of a job than Pochettino, but there's definitely positives there. I think if Chelsea don't make the Champions League, the place that I get to is like, I'm walking into the Club World Cup and saying, I need you to prove to me that you can beat real teams, because Chelsea have not beaten Arsenal, they've not beaten Liverpool, they've not beaten United, they've not beaten City, they've beaten Newcastle, they beat Villa, they beat Spurs, who are not a big team, but they haven't beaten Arsenal, they haven't beaten Liverpool, they haven't beaten City. They have not proven in big moments, and I said this a few weeks ago, they do not have like a signature win yet. Like, they don't have a game against a really good team that they go out and they just ball. Like, even the Newcastle home win was not very good. The Villa home win was not very good. Right? Both Spurs wins are like whatever because it's Spurs. They just don't have that game yet. They're like, okay, I see it. I get it. And they're going to have at least 2 opportunities, probably 3 opportunities, maybe 4 if you include United, to prove like, yeah, we're there. We're that team. And if it doesn't happen, I think I'm going into the Club World Cup and say, give me a reason to not fire you. And maybe you get out of this. Maybe you get, Chelsea Youth said, maybe you get Sarried and you win the Conference League. And he's like, I'm out. I'm going to go take the Juve job. And like, that would be a nice one to get out of some money, but we'll see. I think that's where I'm at with those sorts of things. And then the tie into this with the currently in favor co-sporting directors is you get to things like the agent fees chart, which is over the past year. So this is 2 windows, the summer and the winter. And Chelsea paid £60 million in agent fees. If you think about the deals that Chelsea did in the summer, that means João Felix, Pedro Neto, Philip Jorgensen, Tosin Adarabioyo, which I cannot imagine is a huge contributor to these agent fees, like Jadon Sancho. Like, I can't even fathom how you get to $60 million in agent fees on the deals you did this summer, unless it's like, oh yeah, you guys are scandalously bad at your job. And this is the thing that I just continuously say every week is like, I actually don't even care about fixing the manager because the sporting directors are so much more of a problem, and it doesn't matter. Like, we could have Pep Guardiola or peak Jose Mourinho or peak Tactics Tom or peak Jurgen Klopp, and it would still be a mess because these useless fuckers would go sign. Like, I can't even think. It's so bad that if you were to say, I want you to repeat the window that Chelsea just had with Neto and Sancho and Felix, and it's really those 3 deals specifically, that all 3 players were bad fits for the squad, were not good, were not financially favorable terms. If you said, I want you to go have an equally bad window but with 3 different players, I could not give you a list. I couldn't. Because every name that I look at in a similar price range, so Sancho alone plus a $25 million option, Neto $60 million, João Felix $45 million. Every time I think of two wingers and a broadly flexible attacker in those price ranges, the players are better than those guys. And I'm confident they're better than those guys. Like, if I'm like, oh, yeah, okay, you'll go get, like, Jonathan David instead of Sancho. It's, like, about the same price when you do the wages and the agent fees. Yeah, way better. The profile fits the squad way better. He's definitely a better player than Jadon Sancho. Why wouldn't I do that deal? It deal's way better. At $60 million, I look and say, like, you can go get, I don't know, Nico Williams. Like, yeah, I don't even think Nico Williams is good. I don't want any part of that deal. I think he's way better than Pedro Neto. Way better than Pedro Neto. Like, you can come to, and unless you're like, Garnacho's in that price range. Garnacho's way better than Sancho and Pedro Neto. Not even close. Way better player. It's not even a competitive discussion. And it's not going to matter. Like, I think some of the deals are hits. I think Jackson's a good player. I think Palmer's a good player. I think Estevao is probably going to be pretty good. I think Caicedo and Enzo are good players. I think Marc Cucurella has, like, turned it around to be a useful player. But, like, Mudryk, Neto, Sancho, and at least Sancho you can get out of. Felix, so you're going to get out of that deal? No way. AC Milan put briefings after 3 games being like, yeah, we're not buying this guy. You still have Disasi on the books. You have to get rid of one of your 4 goalkeepers, at least. You have Lavia, who costs $60 million, and he can't play 60 minutes. You bought a Mugu for reasons unbeknownst to me. You bought Mamadou Sarr for $20 million, and he's not good enough to play consistently for Strasbourg. I just don't get it. I don't understand how there is conversations about literally anything else. I don't know how you criticize literally anyone else before talking about them. So, this is not data. This is just me ranting at this point. So we'll see. Chelsea played Legia midweek, and then they play Fulham, and, like, you have to win. You can, if you don't win Fulham, it's over. It's done. If you win, you have a chance. If you win and you get favorable results, you might have a big chance. Because you look at the games on the block, and if I open the sexy spreadsheet and look at the chasing pack and who they've got, you've got Villa have Newcastle on the weekend. That's going to be a really tough game. You've got Forest have Spurs. Definitely not an easy game in terms of the clash of styles. You play Fulham. Newcastle have Villa, and they have Palace as their makeup game. Again, not easy games. And then you have Bournemouth play. I have Fulham, but I don't think that's right because Chelsea are playing Fulham this weekend. So I don't know how that works. But I don't know. That's not. They're not easy games. They all could lose. It's totally possible. But it is, if it wasn't already, it is not up or shut up time, and you have to win. And if you don't win, there's almost certainly going to be consequences. Well, it is what it is. I'll see you after Fulham. As always, enjoy the soccer.